The whole world and all its colors began to shift. There was a feeling of instability, like my brain was unable to recognize where it was, and then dizziness and a sense of falling, like you get when you're anemic. I could hear the blood vessels deep within my ears, and they sounded really loud. The sense of floating finally stopped, and my surroundings coalesced into firm shapes. January 21st, Friday. Mayuri was in front of me. I was in the lab, in the room I knew well. There was no trace of Okinawa anywhere.
そんなに見つめられたら、あゆし恥ずかしいんだけど。
I realized that I was staring at Mayuri. I looked around the room. Daru was sitting in front of the PC like always, hunched over with his back toward me. Suzuha was reading a magazine on the couch. On the open page, I could read the title, New Encephalitis Strikes Worldwide. Are You in Danger? The same couch, the same cheap fridge, Daru's computer desk, the dirty curtain that cut off the element room from the rest of the lab. The wall clock, which I picked up out of a garbage dump, told me it was past 6. I looked at the calendar, and 2010 was already gone. It was January 2011. The world line had changed again. I was back? To the old world line?
No. Mayuri. ここって秋葉原だよな。違うのか。
秋葉原だよ。
今日って何日だっけ。
21日。
ゴリバチョフ知ってるか。
Just imagine, out of the blue one day, one of your friends starts staring at you slightly off, and then suddenly asks you, where are we? What day is it? Do you know who Gorbachev is? Honestly, as soon as I heard the last question, I'm definitely gonna think, yeah, you were in another world line, weren't you? Well, okay, if someone just randomly asked me what time it is and what day it is, obviously I'm gonna think, oh, they just came back from another world line. But as soon as I hear who Gorbachev is, I'm not just gonna think that. I'm gonna believe that they're from another world line.
ゴリバチョフ？どこかで聞いたことがあるような。
Because that's such a specific question. That's such a specific question that if someone just asks that question out of the blue after asking where they are and what time it is, that's such a specific question that you should probably figure out, oh crap, this person is from another world line, or they have memories of another world line, and they just remember them.
ペレストロイカっしょ。恐ろしや。あ、でもゴリビーってソ連時代だっけ？やっぱロシアといえばプーシンしょ。目の前で睨まれたらしょんべんちびる自信あるね。
プーシンさんなら知ってるよ。ロシアの大統領さんだよね。実はワンコが好きなんだよ。秋竹を飼ってるんだって。
I knew that.
ニュースでやってた。
Actually, I know that. Putin is a big dog lover. I know that. Hold on, I think there's like a list of dogs on Wikipedia. Pets of Vladimir Putin. There's Pasha, Verdi, Yume, Buffy, and Coney. And, oh, okay, I think Yume is the Akita puppy. Mayuri? Mayuri? You're going to need to explain something to us. You're going to... you're definitely going to have to explain something to us, Mayuri. This game takes place in January of 2011. Putin did not receive Yume until July 2012. Like, even if this was January 2012, he still had not received Yume yet. Yume was not even born yet. You're gonna have to explain some stuff, Mayuri. Are you time leaping? Are you time leaping? You're time leaping. That's how you know about the Kita puppy. Sorry, I just had to point that out. But yeah, Putin is a big dog lover. And apparently, they mentioned that in the game. Huh. Even his game counterpart loves dogs. Okay, I have to say I like that detail they added.
大統領。あ、そうだ。大統領だ。
Mayuri, Daru, and Suzuha all looked over at me suspiciously. It felt like a long time since anyone had looked at me that way. I was back. I no longer had to worry that I might be killed at any second. I felt incredibly relieved. But, at the same time, I wondered, why had the world line changed again? I needed to calm down and think for a bit. I went up to the roof and booted up the web browser on my smartphone. Unlike during wartime, it connected immediately. I was amazed at the speed. Just getting an internet connection in the last world line had been difficult enough. Hold on. Did you mean Leltsin? Mikhail Gorbachev. Wikipedia. Mobile friendly. Mikhail Sergeyevich Gorbachev. aka Gorbachev. Russian. Born March 2nd, 1931. Is a former Soviet statesman. He was the 8th and final leader of the Soviet Union, having been early life and career, criticism, trivia, and honors. I started by searching for Gorbachev, and the results came back instantly. Perestroika. The Soviet Union's first and last president. The August coup d'etat? Coup d'etat? How do you pronounce that?
Coup d'etat.
Coup d'etat.
Coup d'etat.
Coup d'etat.
Coup d'etat.
Coup d'etat. The August coup d'etat and the collapse of the Soviet Union. Yeah, that doesn't sound right, but I'm gonna continue on. All the keywords I hope to see were there. As soon as I confirmed that the Soviet Union was dismantled at the end of the 20th century and no longer existed, I closed the browser. Then why had the world line shifted again? I hadn't done anything. I didn't have any way to affect the divergence value. The Americans did it. The Americans did this. The first time, it was Russia. But now, the second one was done by America. I'm betting it now. As soon as they had him talk to Amadeus on the phone, he shifted world lines. So, the Americans must have did this time. So, what had changed it? Had whoever had performed the first experiment in Russia undone it? Had they watched his progress for a month and then been satisfied? Were they going to keep doing it? And if they did, would I be caught up in it each time?
Sam.
It was a mistake to come outside without a coat on. Nothing I could come up with by myself would be anything more than a guess. I went back to the lab. The wreath we put up at the entrance for the Christmas party was still up.
クリスマスパーティーか。
It had only been a month, hadn't it? It felt like a million years ago. I had no memories of what I'd done in this world line after the Christmas party.
ああ、そういえば飾り付け放置したまんまだっけ。いい加減外さないとな。
You probably should.
パーティーの時にオカリンと吹雪氏が倒れたっしょ。それでバタバタしちゃってちゃんと片付けできてないんだよね。
俺と中瀬さんが倒れた。
Was that when the world line changed? Everyone remembered that I'd collapsed at the Christmas party. Which means I had come back to the same world line as the one I'd been in before. Wait, that never happens. What? If this was Russia's doing, it was terrifying to think that they could control the world line to that degree. And there was one more thing. It worried me that Fubuki had collapsed too. I stood there, lost in thought. Daru and Mayuri looked a little concerned.
オカリン？
そういえば中瀬さんの具合はどうなのかなって思ってな。
I quickly came up with an excuse.
ふぶきちゃん、まだ入院してるんだ。
Oh.
入院？もう1ヶ月近く経ってるのにか？
本人は大丈夫だって言ってるんだけど、ちっとも退院させてもらえないんだって。
I've heard that lately. Unless you were really, really sick, they wouldn't let you stay in the hospital for very long. Was Fubuki sick with something?
これの疑いが晴れないらしいね。
Suzuha whispered as she held up the page of the magazine she was reading. New encephalitis strikes worldwide. Are you in danger?
新型脳炎。
I borrowed the magazine. Hold on. It's reached Japan. Are you in danger? Cause unknown. Special edition. New encephalitis strikes worldwide. Sudden bouts of amnesia, distorted sense of time, forgetting the people around you, the inability to tell the difference between reality and daydreams. That sounds very similar to something. They were talking about this last November. I'd seen a glimpse of it on the news. Outside of Japan, they'd seen almost 100 people, albeit with mild symptoms. In Japan, there were 10 people being kept at hospitals for examinations, or so it said. So, it had made its way to Japan. And one of those 10 was Fubuki then. Was it transmittable by air? We didn't catch it at the Christmas party, did we? I knew that getting nervous wouldn't help anything, but still, I wondered.
ねえ、オカリンも一度病院で見てもらった方がいいんじゃないかな。あの時のオカリン、ふぶきちゃんよりもっと具合悪そうだったよ。
ああ、考えておくよ。
I gave a half-hearted answer to Mayuri, and turned back to the magazine. Strange symptoms being found all over the world. Cause unknown. Sudden memory loss. Memories differ from those of the people around you. Losing all sense of the passage of time. Losing the ability to tell the difference between dreams and reality, and sometimes having waking dreams. The article was filled with things like that. This was like...
まるでリーディングシュタイナーみたいじゃないか。
Like I said earlier. And it matched exactly with what Shimoyama had told me in the other world line.
随分とリアルな夢を見たりするとか。ひどい時には白チュームというのかな。現実と夢の区別がつかなくなることもあると。中瀬君と非常によく似た白チュームを見る人たちがいる。しかも一人や二人じゃない。
I'd wondered back then if Fubuki possessed Reading Steiner too. Maybe the reason she collapsed at the Christmas party wasn't some new disease, but the unexpected activation of Reading Steiner. That would mean her diagnosis was wrong. The unnecessary tests and treatments they gave her wouldn't help a bit. It looked like I needed to talk to Fubuki. Reception. I ended up going over that day. She was at a large general hospital with a medical student department located in Oshanomizu. It was close enough to Akihabara I could walk, and getting there was easy. Since she might get the wrong idea if I went alone, I encouraged Mayuri to come with me. I hoped it would look like I was only coming in as an afterthought. But it ended up being a bigger deal than I expected. When they heard that Mayuri was going, Yuki and Kaede decided to come too. Evidently, they'd all been to visit Fubuki several times before, and they knew exactly where she was located. They walked down the halls without hesitation. It was almost 8 when visiting hours ended, so we needed to hurry. But as we passed by a nurse's station, there was a minor commotion. A woman in her late 40s, wearing a gray jersey, was yelling at the doctors and nurses.
いい加減にしてよ。いつになったら退院できるの？
ですから、必要な検査と治療を行った後にですね。
Hold on.
治療なんて何にもしてないじゃない。しかもちょっとした検査のはずが、なんで1ヶ月も出られないの？仕事はどうしてくれるの？
I thought that said impatient, not inpatient. Wait. Hold on. How do you spell impatient? A patient who stays in a hospital while under treatment. I thought they were going with a clever pun. And for, impatient. I thought they were doing a pun for impatient, having or showing a tendency to be quickly irritated or provoked. I thought they were doing a pun! I didn't know inpatient was actually a word. A patient who stays in a hospital while under treatment. I didn't know inpatient was a word. Oh my god.
落ち着いてください。この病気は未知の部分が多く、十分な検査を行って慎重に治療をしませんと危険なのです。
嘘。テレビじゃそんなに大変な病気じゃないから安心しろみたいに言ってたわよ。
ですから、それは適切な検査と治療を行うことが前提です。先ほども突然のめまいを起こしたと看護師からの報告が来ています。
あれは夕飯が遅いからお腹が空いて貧血になっただけよ。私は元気なの。さっさと退院させて。
The woman was about ready to grab the doctor by the throat. Several female nurses held her back, then dragged her off somewhere with reassuring words.
びっくりしたわ。ふぶきちゃんは大丈夫かな？
The girls hurried even faster down the hallway. Fubuki was in a four-person room at the very end of the hallway. We hesitantly peeked inside. We could hear moaning coming from beyond the curtains surrounding Fubuki's bed. Mayuri went pale and hurriedly ripped them open. Oh. Fubuki made a strange noise and spun around as we came in. I looked closer and saw that she was sitting on the bed with her legs crossed, watching a show on the LCD TV attached to it. Her eyes were red and swollen with tears, but given the fact that she had a stick of Pocky in her mouth, she was probably just crying over a soap opera. I like the clever spelling of Pocky right here to avoid copyright.
あれおお、みんな、また来てくれたんだ。
Fubuki wiped away her tears and welcomed us with her usual smile.
マユシーはドキドキしちゃったよ。ふぶきちゃんが泣いてるって思って。紛らわしいんだから。ごめんごめん。
Even as she apologized, she tossed another chocolate-coated stick into her mouth. Her hair was tied up, and she was wearing some kind of headgear. At first, I thought it was just that she was too lazy to do her hair, but evidently not. There were cords coming out of the headgear that were attached to a belt around her waist. Were they monitoring her brainwaves? As unobtrusively as possible, I took a look at the other patients around the room. They were all wearing the same headgear. They definitely did not do the storyline in the Zero anime. They definitely did not go with the storyline. They may have been giving it to all the encephalitis patients.
ふぶきちゃん、ごめんね。みんなで押しかけちゃって。とんでもない。大歓迎だよ。それに、オカリンさんまで来てくれるとは思えなかった。
Fubuki stared at me intently. She'd never done that before, so I started to wonder if there was something on my face.
俺と同じように倒れたって言うから気になってたんだ。具合は？
全然平気。なんで退院できないのか本当わかんないよ。毎日検査するだけで他には何にもやることないし、退屈で。しかもさ、病室って携帯禁止なんだよね。メールしたくてもロビーまで行かないとダメだし、夜9時になると勝手に消灯されちゃうから、深夜アニメも見られないし。
What? I'm sorry, but that's a little cruel. That's a little cruel, man. That's a little cruel. Like, especially the stuff about phones. That's just cruel. That's just a little bit cruel in my opinion.
もう信じられない。
Her bed was surrounded with portable game consoles, magazines, a miniature DVD player, anything to stave off boredom. And given all the half-empty boxes of snacks, it was hard to believe the disease was as serious as they said on the news.
オカリンさんは大丈夫なの？
ああ、マユリにも言ったが、この通り、なんともない。
そっか、よかった。
She seemed truly relieved, but she was still staring at me. And suddenly, Kaede started to fidget. Not only that, she blushed, then glanced at me, and then almost started to cry. She was acting really weird.
Oh? Kaede-chan? どうかした？
Oh no! Oh no, I think Fubuki's staring at Okabe because whole thing about them having reading Steiner. She might know a little something about Okabe, or she saw a version of Okabe that she is remembering right now she's seeing him. But Kaede is misinterpreting what Fubuki's intent is at staring at Okabe for. Oh no! Kaede started fidgeting even more when she realized that everyone was looking at her. But she had no choice but to go over and whisper something in Fubuki's ear. The other girls tried to quiet Fubuki down. This was a hospital, and there were other patients in the room. We couldn't make a fuss.
だって皆さん、ちょっと聞いてくださいよ。ここにいらっしゃる来島楓さんってば、私とオカリンさんがみんなに隠れて、こっそり付き合ってるんじゃないかって疑ってるんですよ。
Whoa, that's a little more extreme than I thought. I thought Kaede was, thinking that she liked him, not that they were dating. Now it was our turn to keep from shouting in surprise.
何を言い出すんだ。
だって、まゆりちゃんの話だと、今日ふぶきちゃんのお見舞いに行こうと言い出したのって、オカリンさんなんですよね。
You're really getting the wrong idea here, girl.
それは、まあ、そうだが。
There was another reason, but I couldn't say that.
それに、さっきからふぶきちゃんとオカリンさん、愛おしそうに見つめ合ってるし。
I mean, that is a way to interpret the stares, but you could be oh so wrong.
愛おしそうに見つめてないから。そうじゃなくて、
Fubuki tried to scratch her hair, but the headgear blocked her way, and she gave up.
ちょっと、リアルな夢をね、見ちゃって。
She remembered the war.
リアルな夢。
I was startled. That may have been what I wanted to find out.
今日の夕方くらいかな。少しうとうとしてたんだ。やることもないし暇すぎちゃって。そしたらなんかね、あんまり詳しくは覚えてないんだけど、私とオカリンさんとユキさんが怖い人に車に乗せられてどこかへ連れて行かれる夢を見ちゃったんだ。
Oh?
私も出てくるの？うん。
You didn't need to do a jump scare. You did not need to do that jump scare. It was the same. That meant that Fubuki had experienced the same things I'd gone through in the other world line. And this evening would have been the same time I was experiencing it. I peeked through the curtains to make sure that none of the hospital staff were around.
みんな、悪いが、中瀬さんと二人で話をさせてくれないか。
The intent is good, but they're definitely going to misinterpret what you mean, Okabe.
まさか。
違うって。
I wasn't really sure how to handle that reaction.
それはマユシーたちには聞かれたくないこと？
病気のことについてなんだ。
わかった。
Mary nodded and went outside the curtains. The other two looked bothered, but they followed her.
中瀬さん、君の話した夢なんだが、もしかして場所は沖縄じゃなかったか？
え？そうだね。うん、多分沖縄だったと思う。車に乗ってる時にそういう看板を見た気がする。
車に乗ってたのは俺と君、そしてユキさん、他に運転手と背の低い自衛隊の男。
うん。
男の名前は下山。
Fubuki suddenly went pale. A dream about being in a car in Okinawa could be written off as a coincidence. But knowing the exact name of the man in that shared dream was a different matter entirely.
どうして。
その男は君に白チュームの話をした。ロシアの大統領の話も。そして俺たちは米軍基地に連れて行かれた。そこでマユリたちと合流して俺とは別れた。
Fubuki was too stunned to speak. There was no room for doubt. My suspicion turned into a certainty. Fubuki had a stronger reading Steiner than most people, and remember the other world line has a relatively realistic dream.
夢の中でその下山って人が言ってた。オカリンさんも私と同じで別の世界の記憶を持ってるんだって。
ああ。
それって本当だったんだ。
At this point, you're just gonna have to say the truth, man.
ああ。
Good, you didn't hesitate. Good. I hesitated for a moment, but then I gave her a brief explanation of my own reading Steiner ability. The one thing I wanted to make sure she understood was that her dreams weren't caused by an illness. I'm gonna repeat that. The one thing I wanted to make sure she understood was that her dreams weren't caused by an illness. But her reaction wasn't what I expected.
だったら他にもいるかも。病気じゃない人。
そうなのか。
暇だからみんなとね、よく話をするんだ。自分の見た夢の話。それがものすごくそっくりでびっくりすることがあって。ついさっきもね、隣の部屋に入院してる小学生の子が言ってた。ここで仲良くなった子なんだけど、一度も行ったことないはずなのに沖縄にいる夢を見たって。戦争で東京が燃えちゃって自衛隊に助けられて沖縄へ逃げる夢だったって。
そうか。
Oh no. If that was true, then it wasn't just Fubuki. There were other patients who were being kept in the hospital for no reason, who didn't have any kind of disease at all.
お医者さんに話した方がいい？
いや、とてもじゃないが信じてもらえるとは思えない。それどころか妄想がひどくなったって診断されたりでもしたら。
そっか。
Shit, man. Okay, the stakes are a lot more higher in this path. The stakes are a lot more higher. Holy shit.
他の人にもまだ黙っていた方がいい。騒ぎになったら大変だ。
And then, Yuki poked her head through the curtain.
岡部さん、看護師さんがこっちに来ます。
面会時間おしまいですよ。
I looked at the clock. It was well past 8.
バタバタしちゃってごめんね、ふぶきちゃん。今度はゆっくりできるように早めに来るね。ああ、まゆし、言っちゃやだ。でも、ナースさんに怒られちゃうよ。
Just break the rules. Just break the rules. Hospitals have too many stupid rules.
そんなの別にいいよ。今夜は私と一緒に寝て。
Let me clarify this now. I know the reasons why they have so many different rules, like visiting hours and the no phone rule. But some of those just seem a little bit too harsh. Like, okay, at least the phone one is harsh. Visiting hours, I can get behind, for the most part. But the phone one's just a little bit harsh. Though I don't think many hospitals do that anymore. Or, I don't know, I've not ever, stayed at a hospital. I've known many people who were at hospitals, but that's probably, it was not a thing that's in my mind, thinking about whether or not they're allowed to have a phone. That was not on my mind at the time. Fubuki was back to her usual self. She grabbed Mayuri's hand and held it tight. Kaede chuckled and forced her to let go.
なるべく来てあげるから。わがまま言っちゃダメ。なるべくじゃやだよ。明日も明後日も放課後になったら来て。暇で死んじゃう。
Fubuki flailed her arms and legs about. It was a bit too deliberate, if you ask me. Kaede patted her on the head.
はいはい。それじゃあ、またね。
Bayuri and Yuki went over to pat her, too. And before long, she looked like a little puppy in a kennel while being petted. We left her behind and exited the room. I was the last to leave, and before I did, I turned around and saw Fubuki staring at us from the bed. Our eyes met, so I nodded a little. It's okay. You're not sick, so don't worry. I don't know if she understood what I meant, but she nodded back. Interesting. Oh? I got a message. On Ryan. Suzuha. I want to talk in private. I'll wait for you to contact me. Oh, that's what I was supposed to do. Oh. Something in the short message made me feel very tense. Oh shit! Oh shit! I know what's happening here! After I said my goodbyes to the others, I contacted Suzuha. She told me to come to the top of Radi-Kan. When I arrived, she was standing silently on the dark roof. There was no trace of a smile on her face. Her eyes shone in the darkness, and as she glared at me, I felt a shiver run down my spine. This was not the Suzuha I was used to. Maybe this was her true self. Whatever she wanted to talk to me about, I was sure I wasn't going to like it.
悪かったね、オカリンおじさん。こんなところに呼び出しちゃって。
話ってなんだ？
私はなんていうか、話の駆け引きとか上手な情報の引き出し方とかそういうの苦手でさ。
She's still acting very awkward, but I know where this is leading. I know where this is leading to. From the way she stumbled over her words, it was clearly something she didn't want to talk about.
単刀直入に言ってくれ。以前のお前なら多分そうしていただろう。
そうだね。
もしかして俺のこと気遣ってくれてるのか？そうか。ありがとう。
別にそんなんじゃ。
Suzuha got a little annoyed and tried to say something back to me, but ended up swallowing her words.
実は俺、最初はちょっとショックだったんだ。お前が俺のよく知ってる鈴葉と全然違ったから。
それは仕方ない。世界線が違えば育った環境もそこで出来上がる人格や考え方も変わる。
No comment, but no comment, but you're not too different from the previous Suzuha.
ああ、でも今はそうは思わない。鈴葉はやっぱり鈴葉だよ。
いや、やっぱり私は違う。オカリンおじさんのよく知ってる天音鈴葉じゃない。
鈴葉。
今日私はオカリンおじさんを尾行したんだ。
尾行？
そう、病院の中までずっと。
What did she say? Why would she do that? No. I knew the answer without even asking. There was only one reason she would do something like that.
俺が世界線を移動したことに気づいたのか？
あのクリスマスの夜におじさんにリーディングシュタイナーが発動したんじゃないかとずっと疑ってたんだ。あの日だけじゃない、今日もだ。それで確信に変わったよ。
I deliberately avoided telling Suzuha that the world line had changed. It was obvious that she would react like this.
聞かせて。ここはもう前の世界線とは変わってしまったのか？
Yes.
聞いてどうする？
いいから答えて。
Oh, shit!
これは命令だ。岡部倫太郎。
I got 50% of the CGs. Shit, man. I knew this was coming! I gulped as I saw her pull a gleaming pistol out from her jacket. It was aimed right between my eyes.
冗談だよな。
冗談でこんなことはしない。
It felt like Suzuha was trying to revert to who she was when I'd first come to the Beta World Line. A woman who put her mission above everything else. She was so desperate, it hurt to even look at her. What would happen if she shot me here? I imagined myself lying on the ground in a pool of blood. In my mind, the image overlapped with Kursu's dead body. I closed my eyes and grit my teeth, trying to avoid a flashback. I had spent the last month trying to escape to Okinawa in the middle of a war, but I still wasn't used to having a gun pointed right at me.
もう一度聞く。世界線は変動したのか？ここはもう以前とは違う世界なのか？
But Suza's hands were shaking a little as she held the gun. That would have been unimaginable when she'd first come here from the future. Maybe she was ashamed of it, because she bit down on her teeth even harder. Oh! She must have bit her lip when she did so, because a single trail of blood ran down her jaw and dripped onto the ground. I stared at the blood as I answered.
大丈夫だ。俺たちは以前のままの世界線にいる。
本当に？
ああ。一度別の世界線に移動したのは事実だが、再び元に戻ったはずだ。
それをやったのは誰だ？ロシアか？
だと思う。
とうとうタイムマシンの実験を開始したってことか。
I nodded.
それならもう一刻の猶予もないじゃないか。連中が実験を続ければやがて取り返しのつかないことが起きる。シュタインズゲートに続く道が閉ざされてしまうかもしれない。私はバカだ。悩んでる場合じゃなかった。もう説得なんて終わりだ。
どうする気だ？
岡部倫太郎、私の命令に従ってもらう。一緒に7月28日に行くんだ。
拒否したら？
拒否なんてさせない。
お前はいいのか？それで
何？
この世界線をなかったことにしてしまって、それで。
うるさい。
Oh. There was a horrible ringing in my ears and a fierce pain in my eardrums. A second later, the smell of gunpowder passed by my face. She really shot at me.
次は脅しじゃなくて当てる。
She was glaring at me as if she was about to cry. We stared at each other in silence. I tried as hard as I could to come up with something to calm her down, but nothing came to me. Nothing I could come up with would get her to change her mind. What should I do?
Suzuha, Okarin, 何やってんだお?
Suddenly, I heard Daru's voice. I turned and saw that he just come out the door near the stairs.
父さん、どうして？
マユシとアマネシからメールがあったんだ。なんか鈴葉がオカリンを呼び出したって言うからさ、嫌な予感がして探してたんだお。あと、差出人不明のメールがあった。
差出人不明？
What?
この場所のマップの URL を送りつけられた。もしやと思って真っ先に来てみたわけ。
Oh shit, wait! Someone sent Daru a URL of this place nearby the time when Suzuha and Okabe were here, and it was an unknown sender. Someone knows about the time machine here. Someone knows about the time machine here. Oh shit! Are we going down the path I think we're going? Are we going down the path I think we're going? Oh my god, hold on. I think I know where this is going.
そしたら銃声がしたからびっくりしたっつうの。
Daru's whole body was covered in sweat. Even as he spoke, large beads were appearing on his forehead. He must have really hurried.
で、鈴葉、その銃は何なん？
いや、鈴葉は別に何も。
何もなかったら銃なんて撃たないっしょ、上皇。ほら鈴葉、話してみるといいのだぜ。
父さんだって本当は分かってるくせに。
何が？
世界線が変動したことだよ。ロシアがタイムマシンの実験を始めたんだ。
それって確定なん？
だから焦ってるんじゃないか。このままじゃ何もかも終わりなんだ。シュタインズゲートに到達できない。第三次世界大戦も防げない。大勢の人が死んで、母さんも死んで、何もかも回避できない。
それは困るお。でもだからってさ、オカリンを脅して無理やり過去へ連れて行ったとして、それでうまくいくわけ
？Daru's normally easygoing expression had suddenly turned serious.
タイムマシンや世界線のことを研究し始めて、なんとなく分かってきたんだよね。オカリンの言う通り、普通のやり方じゃ何度やってもマキセ氏の命を救うことなんてできないんじゃないかって。
父さんまで何を言って。
He said the normal way. Save her the normal way.
世界線のルールや因果率がそんな簡単に変えられるんなら、オカリンの言うアルファ世界線でマユ氏の命だって救えたはずっしょ。
Casualty. The school of thought that says all things have a cause and effect. This idea is at the core of relativity theory. I'm sorry. However, it has been observed in the micro-scale world of quantum mechanics that casualty does not always apply. I'm just gonna repeat that. I really messed up explaining what casualty is. I'm sorry. The school of thought that says all things have a cause and an effect. This idea is at the core of relativity theory. However, it has been observed in the micro-scale world of quantum mechanics that casualty does not always apply. And that is casualty.
じゃあどうしたらいいって言うんだ。
Daru brought his fist up to his chest.
どうすべきかを僕らは研究してるわけっしょ。
でももう時間が。
大丈夫、僕に任せとけって。絶対に何とかしてみせる。 たまには父さんの言うことも素直に聞いてほしいのだぜ。
Daru's voice was strong and kind in a way you never imagined he was capable of. He softly took the gun from Suzuha's hands. She didn't resist.
ほら、銃なんかよりもっと大切なものを忘れてる。今日みたいな寒い日にこそこれを使うべき。
He brought the mittens. Daru took something out of his pocket. Gloves, I think it was gloves, yeah, not mittens. He pressed it into Suzuha's hands. It was a pair of handmade gloves. It was the present that Yuki had given her at the Christmas party. I remembered it well.
私
When he gave her the gloves, warm tears started to flow down from her face.
どうしていいのかわかんなくなっちゃった。助けて。父さん。助けて。お願い。
Suzuha's shoulder shook as the tears poured down. I turned my eyes toward the time machine, a silhouette in the darkness.
俺はもう乗らないって決めたんだ。
No matter what Daru said, no matter how Suzuha threatened me, I wasn't going back to the past. I can't look back. And next time, we'll be getting Suzuha's point of view. Dang. Yeah, I can say that I'm really liking these rounds. Pandora's Box. I'm really liking Pandora's Box. As well as X-Day Protocol. X-Day Protocol was really good. I'm gonna be honest here, I kinda like X-Day Protocol a little bit more than Pandora's Box, but I can't really judge on what's the best, chapter of Steins Gate Zero until I played all of them, so yeah.
Okay.